The following is a reading of an article about to be published on community organized compassion and kindness in the next day or so, and the working title at present is Celibacy, Social Isolation, and MGTOW. As the phenomenon of men leaving gynocentric social norms grows, an increasing number of individuals are trying to brand themselves by wearing the MGTOW label as if it is a cool club jacket. Because most such individuals have not done the self-discovery and personal growth required. They lack understanding, and they bring ideas into their cool kid version of MGTOW which are incoherent in the context of MGTOW philosophy. Besides rejecting marriage as the most emblematic of gynocentric conventions, the philosophy of a MGTOW path begins with abandoning female-conferred social status as an element of male identity. The conceptual hierarchy of alpha males and beta males is one example of female-conferred masculine identity. Some recent joining the cool club MGTOWs have identified themselves as alpha MGTOW in juvenile efforts to elevate themselves above other men. This would be no more than comically embarrassing to the proponents of it, except that men newly waking up to MGTOW are in danger of being led right back into self-destructive social delusions. The argument is that men who adopt a MGTOW path from the position of sexually active lives are either true MGTOW or apex MGTOW or perhaps alpha MGTOW. Meanwhile, in contrast to this, men who have been less sexually active are dubbed beta MGTOW, or no different from involuntary celibates who self-identify with the label true forced loneliness. However, because some readers or listeners may have no direct knowledge of the true forced loneliness idea or identity, a brief exposition is necessary. The label of TFL, or true forced loneliness, is taken by a small number of men as a badge of identity. And these are men who have experienced social rejection or female rejection and have embraced and internalized the loser identity conferred onto them by women and by others. But nobody is a loser unless they themselves believe in whatever label is conferred onto them from the outside. MGTOW, men going their own way, and its related path of self-discovery and self-definition would actually be an excellent and positive path for anyone presently self-identifying as a TFL, true forced loneliness guy, still buying into the misery and the loneliness of that applied label. But to make the shift between TFL and MGTOW, abandonment of outwardly sourced identity and pursuit of personal growth is necessary, and that cannot be given. It must be taken. In the first draft of this article, I called that the pursuit of personal awesomeness. But the sad emo boys of the manosphere have to drop their sad emo act and that horrible TFL identity. If you call yourself a loser and you buy into it, what do you expect except to have a miserable time and a miserable life? But returning to the concept of either apex or alpha MGTOW, this concept is incoherent. In fact, men who claim their supposed success with women makes them a superior version of men going their own way demonstrate a fundamental failure of comprehension. They're simply buying back into the cultural convention of positive male identity being granted by feminine approval. But this is the fundamental social philosophy rejected in a MGTOW path towards male self-actualization. And while, as a commentator on the MGTOW phenomenon, it is for men's benefit in stepping outside of conferred shame or conferred positive identity that I write these words. But the man who claims that women's approval of him through granting of sexual access makes him an apex MGTOW, such a man might actually be an irredeemable simpleton. I only hope that in that I'm wrong, and they can learn as well. Now, after a test reading of this short rant to a friend, she insisted that I go and look up some emo poetry, and I did, and it was awful. I couldn't find any true forced loneliness poetry, so I had to write some myself. And yes, it is just as bad as the emo poetry that you can go and find for yourself online. So here it is, my awful emo/TFL poem. This poem is called The Darkness in My Soul. My heart is a bottomless well of despair. I ladle it into the world as they stare. A pale mannequin laboring in sorrow, sleep a quiet respite till the pain of tomorrow. A woman turns scornful on seeing my face. The unattractive have no right in such a place. I embrace solitude as my lot in this life, and sit staring alone in the dark every night. Thank you all for your very kind attention, and have a lovely day.